Hello there everyone, I'm Suzavile and today I will be reviewing the faction of Dol Amroth, or actually the Principality of Dol Amroth. The Principality of Dol Amroth starts in a very interesting position. Dol Amroth starts well protected from enemy attacks as Gondor practically surrounds them. They start with many enemies, but mostly you should be aware of the Harad tribes and the Haven of Umber, as they will be your primary targets. The objectives are also very hard to achieve. 60 regions including 3 eliminations, 3 factions, Mordor, Harad tribes and the Haven of Umbar. It's probably one of the most difficult victory conditions there are on this submod. There's rather only one path to victory, which would be going south into Harad and Umbar. Going against Mordor doesn't feel like a good choice initially, and certainly not betraying Gondor. The initial conquests are very few, but the most important one is Edelhon right here, this rebel city. It is a minor city, and the income plus the replenishment rate of your units will be most important. You will also have a few minor settlements located on the coast of the Harad provinces. The unit roster for Dol Amroth is one of the most balanced ones. They have a good range of early to elite army, and on almost every department they only lack anti-armor capability. None of their units are good against anti-armor. As I've said, they have a good Gondor militia, archer, and the Gondor cavalry militia, as well as their standard Dol Amroth army, which will compose the bulk of your forces. In terms of elite armies, you will have more than enough to deal with whatever comes around, including archers, infantry, and heavily armored cavalry. Dol Amroth also has an interesting idea when it comes to units. This is just because they have a bad to medium rate of replenishment. They have very few settlements that can produce units. However, all of those units take a long time to build up. Nevertheless, I'll just show you one thing that soothes my mind. On the large town or even town level, as you can see here, you can also issue not only the militia units, but also some medium to elite units, which will severely increase your gameplay. Just to consider, on the town guard level, which is on the town level, you can also have the Haven Guard. So this should be an interesting ability for the players who try to play with Dol Amroth. In terms of agents, Dol Amroth shouldn't worry too much. The standard idea of having one diplomat going through one side of the Misty Mountains and another diplomat going through the other side of the Misty Mountains, finding every faction there is, should be enough. In terms of spies, they will only have one front, although it can grow really wide. You will need about 2 to 3 spies per this front, so not a huge investment in that regard as well. Sabotages on your assassins should be considered, because Umbar and the Harad tribes have the Mumakil units and also other specialized units, which you can sabotage their buildings to avoid them. In terms of buildings, Dol Amroth and Edelhon, should you acquire it immediately, will be your main building production facilities. You will require a lot of good planning and careful, because the finances of Dol Amroth are not very good. They are starting really weak and their units are quite expensive. The buildings that you should concentrate initially are the mines, the town hall building queue, and the ports, of course, because not only because of the tradable goods, but also because of the ships that you will eventually require as well. Overall, they have a very good city-to-castle relation in terms of military, so that it comes as a bonus to you. You will not require too many military facilities at once. So, in terms of reviewing the Principality of Dol Amroth, what we have in terms of strong points, their overall good position, really tucked in between Gondor and having a very nice good path to victory, just going south into Harad or Umbar. They have good initial elite armies, which is very nice, and they're very they have a very nice time with the agents because you won't need too many of them. In terms of weak points, they are vulnerable if Gondor should fall, of course. Their units are very expensive. Most of their units are really expensive. Even the militia type units are expensive, but the Haven Guard, come on, for 150. These units are fairly expensive. That will bring you to a lot of financial problems. Victory will be long and hard because of the victory condition. It needs three factions to be destroyed, and it in addition, every single unit lacks anti-armor, so you're gonna have to do a lot of you're gonna have a lot of problems against armored or heavily armored opponents. Luckily, Harad tribes are not known for their armor, so you'll have a little bit less worse time there, let's say. In terms of generals, they are medium. You know, the best general that they have is a level 4, so you're gonna need to level them up a little bit. They are cavalry generals for the most part. In buildings, they have good building and unit synergy. In terms of overall strategies that you might be able to want to apply in your playthroughs, their rush options are fairly decent. You can just initially rush the coast of Harad and get to a good point like protected by this river. I believe that would be a very nice idea. In terms of tech options, staying back to tech to a certain unit, I think it's a bad idea. They have less settlements than most other factions, so that makes it a little bit difficult, and most of the initial settlements are small towns, so not a good idea in that regard. Time to victory will be long, and one thing that I don't like about the Dol Amroth is that you don't have many different paths. Mostly, if not always, you will have to go against Harad and Umbar. So thank you all guys for watching this Principality of Dol Amroth faction guide, let's say. Goodbye guys.